Hello, everybody. A couple minutes early today. Hopefully, you're doing well. Good to see you. Got Mr. Apollo here ready for us to begin our forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're looking here at the monthly forecast, which you can use for the next 6 to 8 weeks to help you navigate all the opportunities and the challenges that come through. Today, a lot of really important messages coming through on taking chances, authenticity, and things of that nature. So I'm here to help you out with that. Let me put Apollo down so we can chat and we can get to business. So you can always use this, as I said, for your sun, rising moon, and for your Venus. We will go into specifically sun, rising moon in the latter portion of the reading, so I do hope you can stick around for that. It'll be my pleasure to help you out with that. As I said, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to begin here with channeled messages, and for me, the channeled messages come through primarily in dreams on the days that I prepare for these monthly readings. And for the past 2 days, I've been receiving some important messages for your sign, and let's get into it. So, this is when the reading begins. Like I said, I use a combination of methods here, both divination and also just raw intuition. So my raw intuition is bringing forth these images and messages. The totem that came through, which is like the big mental image that I get when I get ready, was actually the inner ear, the cochlea. Very specific, almost as if I was looking at a medical diagram, for instance. So I'll get into that in just a moment. And then also a couple of messages about being original and stepping up to the plate and really just sort of like giving something a chance. I feel some of you might be actually receiving an unexpected opportunity. A lot of times when this happens, we can get imposter syndrome, we can worry, and you start to kind of think, can I do this? And the answer is yes, you can do this. So let's begin with the cochlea. So the cochlea is what I saw in dreams. Particularly, I was being shown this sort of, it looks a little bit like what you see here on this illustration. It's a seashell-like part of the inner ear that is responsible for hearing. And basically it comes from the Greek word for snail. And snails, of course, aren't known for their speed. So one thing that you want to do with respect to communication is listen. And if you're speaking, speak slowly, clearly, and make sure that both parties are sort of encoding and decoding the messages correctly. I like that this Ace of Swords from the Lightseers deck actually pictures or shows someone with their eyes shut, their mind open, their ears open, because listening is one of the most important facets of just good communication, and we're seeing that nicely illustrated here. One thing that I think that this was really trying to drive home was the need to be an active listener and to remove any filters that you might have. Preconceived filters like this is going to go not so well, I'm worried about this, or maybe overconfidence and not making sure that someone is ready for the conversation. So just be present, be as neutral as possible, not sort of hyping yourself too much up here and not allowing yourself to get too much sort of anchored in your anxiety. And that's going to be the sweet spot, is just being open, aware, and have enough confidence to be able to present yourself. Yes, you want confidence, but you want to be make sure that you're listening and looking, just to look at and make sure everything's okay with everyone. Read between the lines, obviously, and I'm talking about body language, not just the words that you're going to be looking at, because this is very much a listening message. So listen to the tonality of how someone is saying whatever it is that they're saying. Do you get that there might be some nerves that they have, even if they're, sort of trying to put on a facade? Do you feel like there might be some hesitation or some frustration? If so, pause for a moment and say, hey, I'm really curious. What do you think about this? Or you could even call something out and say, it sounds like you might have a question. Is there anything that I haven't made clear, or do you want to add something? So this is going to help. Open communication, active listening, and really being in tune with the tone and frequency of what it is that people are saying as well. All right, the next piece that I'd like to talk about is this really cool image that I had. It was more than just an image. I sort of saw this scene unfold for me, where someone just stepped into a theater and they're like, and you'll do. And they gave the person a script and they said, we need an understudy. Just read the lines. And there was no preparation, but the person was doing fine. And I could see the director, the actors, everyone was like, okay, this might work actually. So For some of you, you may have a moment where you're called into the spotlight, put in the hot seat. It could be at school, at work, even in a family situation, and someone just needs you there. And you don't have always time to prepare, and there may be this sort of perfectionist vibe where you're like, but I need this and I want to do this, and just let it go. You've got nothing to prove and nothing to lose, especially when those situations arise. It's sort of like they just need someone to give the best that they can give. And you're going to do better than you anticipate and they anticipate if you don't get in your own way. That's what I saw. For those of you that legitimately are an understudy or someone that's kind of a contingency backup plan for someone, in business, it can be a second agency that's on call. If it's a play, it literally is an understudy. You might be someone's insurance plan, but you're coming through and they may start to question why you're number 2 on the speed dial instead of number 1. So you have a chance to just really do well because people aren't expecting it. And I mean that in the best way. Their eyes are on other things. So when you just hit it out of the park, it's like, wow, why haven't I been paying attention to you? So this month, do your homework, do your preparation, and then also just be prepared for the unexpected moment where it's your turn. And when it's your turn, whether you're ready or not. I put the sun here because whether it's going to be the sun or the star, you're going to shine, you're going to do okay. And I think it is that sort of desire to please or desire to be perfect or have everything sort of, there is a people-pleasing portion to Libra that we all have to be aware of and careful with. So you don't have to be perfect or make everyone happy. You're just doing a great job by showing up and giving your best. And ultimately, over time, this is going to shine really nicely on your sort of your future path. So I'm excited to see how this pans out for all Libra. All right, moving on to the next piece. There was another dream message that I had surrounding like a copycat or a doppelganger. The word that came into my mind was doppelganger, and it's a loan word from German. Saw a lot of different interpretations of it, but double for sure. And then it's either like walker or doer or whatever, but basically duplicate or facsimile. And what happens when you start to achieve a certain level of success or just kind of finish, maybe you have your own sort of style or whatever, people then sometimes emulate it. That's a fashion trend, right? When we think of fashion. And what do fashion companies do? They just keep coming up with new trends. You keep innovating. So if you've got people that are really starting to latch on, starting to copy, starting to emulate, that's a good sign. And what they can't copy is your ability to come up with something new. So if we think of actors, singers, brands, and innovators and development companies out there, they're always redefining. So you just get a chance to redefine yourself. I chose a card that's an extra one in one of my favorite decks, the Fountain. It would be like number 22. Beyond the World is this sort of space of creativity where you exist and where you can pull from. And as an air sign, you have that capacity absolutely always to go to spaces and places where others couldn't. So break the mold. And if you're don't get nervous, don't get upset. Obviously, if there's intellectual property, ideas and copyrights and things like that, you want to protect that. But what I see is this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to come. So quickly, let's review all 3 of these, and then let's get into the cards. I'm gonna use the new deck for you guys today too, the last unicorn one. So when we look at listening, slow it down. Make sure that you are hearing everything. Ask someone to repeat something if you need to. Make sure that your communication has been also interpreted correctly by the people around you. The next piece here is to also read between the lines and look at nonverbal cues. You may be tapped on the shoulder and asked to do something where you wish you had more preparation. Guess what? You have enough, so just go for it. And if you are someone who's been preparing, this is your moment to kind of step up, so don't second guess it when it happens. Finally, your innovative, creative, and authentic side of your personality is what's going to be very attractive. You may get some people that try to copy or emulate that, but there's no substitute for the real thing. So keep being yourself, keep exploring new things, and trust that you're not a one-trick pony and that you can keep coming up with exciting new ways to innovate and to keep people on their toes, because that's what it's all about. All right, so welcome everybody again. Good to see you. We're going to be moving from the channeled messages now into the Celtic Cross. This month we're going to be using one of the newer decks here. I'm trying not to overuse it, but it is a really cool deck. So this is going to be the last unicorn. And again, for the Celtic Cross here, we can use this for your Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. Good to see everybody. Let's get started and see what the cards have in store for us. Let me just clear this so I can see what you see. All right. Thank you so much, Robert, and everybody else who's given back. I'll take a moment at the end to also thank and welcome folks. Appreciate the support. All right, we have some really favorable cards here. A lot of change and movement happening for you, Libra, as I'm looking at this. So I'm going to help you through it. We're going to begin with the Catalyst card. And the Catalyst card is a way to initiate action, a way to stay in the highest possible energy. And it's really kind of like what you need to jumpstart the month. What we're seeing here is something that's really beautiful and quite true. When you heal yourself, you heal everyone around you. So this one is specifically calling to like lineage and familial sort of baggage that we all have because we're born into families. This is also even going beyond this generation. So it's maybe 1 or 2 generations back, lineage, ancestry, etc. Now, what this means, it sounds nice, but let's kind of break it down. What it really is telling me is you have an opportunity to break a cycle. For some of you, this could be a cycle where there wasn't a lot of maybe abundance around a certain area, whether it's, relationships or love, or even just sort of allowing yourself to be free and personally develop and have that sort of, independence. Whatever was lacking in your family or your lineage is not going to continue with you. You're the disruptor. You're the change. You're the catalyst. And the one thing that you're not afraid to do, in other words, where your strength lies, is in healing yourself, knowing yourself and healing yourself. So some of you, this is saying, all right, I need to talk to someone for advice, assistance. I want to empower myself by learning this, by mastering this. I'm going to do something to make sure that I have the foundation that maybe wasn't given to me, but I've always had the capacity to create. So you're basically creating your own foundation. And you don't need other people's permission. You don't really need anything but that sort of feeling from the heart that this is right. So I really want you to tune into the different avenues of your life. And we'll do that when we look at the expanded forecast today. But looking at the areas of your love and your wealth and your family and your friends and all of these sort of pieces of the pie and thinking, do they all fit? Is there anything that I need to improve? Make that your number one priority this month. Not that it shouldn't ever not be the top priority, but especially so this month. Really focus on healing. Without that, it'll be difficult to move forward and sustain. And I really want for you to have sustaining energy. All right. Let's go ahead now and take this card by card, and we'll begin with your, you've got a lot of power cards. Let's pause for a second before I get too deep into the Celtic Cross. Let's just scan it and see the energy. I like to do that before I get too deep into it. So a little bit of stress management, a little bit of rest that we'll talk about. The good news, though, is that we're seeing some revelation or revealing energy. I think it's going to be a good month for business, and it feels like you're moving through something, you're breaking through something. So the overall energy is pretty good. I also see people coming into your life right now helping you with all of this. So it's a good month. As I take a quick sort of look at it, there's a few things that I want to help you with, but you're going to be fine. All right, let's move on to the Hierophant. Hierophant is reversed. A Hierophant typically is, I like this particular illustration. He's focusing on the key. That's my favorite element of the traditional Hierophant card anyway. And he's thinking, can I do it? What, do I have what it takes to kind of unlock my potential? And the answer is yes. The problem with many of us is we were brought up maybe in a traditional school or familial or cultural environment where we had this, the gatekeeper, the traditional Hierophant. At his feet, we see the two keys and we see two disciples waiting for permission or guidance or direction to use the key or open the door, or maybe he has to open it for them. The new versions of the Hierophant always show the key being the central figure on this, and you need to figure out what to do with it yourself. So in this moment, you may find yourself in an unusual situation where maybe someone that was a mentor or teacher, you've kind of like moved on beyond that person, or maybe your traditional structure or organization. Let's say you had a job, or maybe you have your own company, or you've been doing things a certain way. That mold, and we were talking about breaking the mold, it doesn't feel right anymore. It doesn't sort of suit you or fit you. And so in this moment in time, it's really about saying, all right, let's throw that out. I'm not a cookie cutter version of what people expect. I have to think outside of the box. I have to try something different. And it has to feel to me like I'm unlocking or opening a different part of myself that I haven't accessed before. So in order to stay interested, in order to stay vital, in order to really be your best, you should always be unlocking and sort of like expanding those pieces of yourself that people may not be as familiar with. And that's what this Hierophant is saying. It's a time to take a calculated risk, to take the key, not to sort of have too much fear or doubt, and to know that it's like the students become the teacher. You have people that are looking up to you. The crows are looking up to this guy and saying, what are we going to do? How do we get through this? And so that's really what this is about here, is a role reversal, changing and shifting things up a little bit. And I think that that's going to be an exciting place for you. Sometimes it's a little bit, unnerving, but it's important to sometimes put ourselves into those uncomfortable places, because that's when the growth really happens. All right, we have the Hanged Man here crossing that center card. So let's look at it. So the Hanged Man in the upright position is saying everything in cosmic timing, and you're actually closer to being right on time than you might imagine. This was the slow down message that I had. So this isn't a full stop. This is just saying stop long enough here to ask yourself all those sort of important questions about your health and your happiness, but also your direction. And then if there is any sort of fear, to really just dig a little deeper and think, why am I afraid? What have I got to lose? Why not? All of that. Okay. We have also a kind of like carrion type bird here. So this is saying, take a look at what's already been worked upon in your life. There might be some things to salvage, some things that you can work from. That's something that, whether it's a crow or a raven or a vulture, they have this capacity to take things that others would discard and do something cool with it. So I actually see some reclamation energy if you slow down. You might say, oh, there's value in this. Oh, I'd forgotten about this. So this Hanged Man wants you to slow down and kind of like feast on all the scraps around you, pull it together and say, all right, I know what to do now, because I've finally slowed down long enough to see the pieces of the puzzle and how they fit. So a necessary pause. And in fact, if we take a look at the table here, you're showing up as needing a little bit of a rest. The Four of Swords is, allowing yourself to reconnect with the magic, with the creativity. And that only happens when you slow down. So You're going to kind of go between this. It's 2 gears this month. There's going to be moments of pausing, and then, as I said earlier, stepping up to the plate. The rest is going to empower that. So it's kind of like a traditional peak and valley sort of thing, like a heartbeat. And so you need the rest so that you can really do your all here, and then you're going to rest a little bit again. And then, so we'll see how many peaks there might be. It feels like there's at least a few here, which is exciting. But there has to be the rest periods. You have 2 rest periods for sure. This would constitute a peak. This would be a peak. And it feels like the Fool could be another. There's 3 to 4 peaks. So it's, you're still going to be needing rest this month. You come through as needing a vacation, some time off. Whenever you can take the rest, take it. And that's a definite sort of signal that's coming through. Let's look at your deep past and see what's energetically and karmically affecting you in this moment. Fear, anxiety, uncertainty, perhaps a lack of guarantees. 9 of Swords tends to constitute all of those things. For some of you, it may be time to get a better pillow or mattress, or really take a look at your sleep-wake habits and schedule. Are you, eating or drinking too close to going to bed? Are you working too late? If there's erratic sleep and wake hours, try to bring that into some sort of semblance of normalcy. But if not, it's stress management and it's ambiguity management, and it's an understanding that these are components of everyday life, right? So whatever you can do to manage stress will be key. The good thing is, of all of the potential fear or sort of not so fun swords cards, I can deal with the 9 of Swords. It's not about pain. It's not about people lying or cheating, or it's not about, it's just anxiety for the most part. Now, I say that not to make light of it, but I'm saying with that, you know how to handle it. You can talk to someone. You know that fears and anxieties are usually not as big as they feel in the moment. So being able to understand that and remind yourself of that, and even remember that the 8 of Swords is the least to be feared in all of the Swords cards, you're okay. You'll be okay. Let's put it that way. You may not be okay in the moment, but you're going to work your way through it. And we're going to talk about how to do that today. Again, standard disclaimer, I'm not a substitute for a therapist, but I'm looking at energy opportunities for you here. So let's keep looking. One of the ways that you can stay on top of everything and manage any stress is through friends. We have the 6 of Cups here, which is exactly what you see here. Friends can be with you in your best moment and also in your not so best moment. So whether it's consolation, whether it's just support or friendship or celebration, all of these things are the 6 of Cups here. So in this moment in time, I think the most important thing for you to do is not to be afraid to reach out, not to be afraid to talk to someone that you care about, or talk to someone that about something that's important to you that you care about, and really sort of just empower yourself to be vulnerable around those people that you trust the most. Also, it may be a time for some of you to simply open yourself up a little bit and be more vulnerable. Not always easy, right? But hanging out is going to be key. When was the last time you had fun? When was the last time you did something where it was just a chance for you to sort of, relax and enjoy? This is the time to do that, okay? So I put a link to the deck. Some of you are asking. It's on my main page. It's the first one there. So 6 of Cups is good stuff. It's friends, family, could be children in your life. It's also the inner child. So if you have any questions around any of that or want to kind of connect with that, this card is really saying yes. Have some fun, celebrate the inner child, be around your friends as much as possible. And also for those of you that might be newly situated, maybe you just moved. I just moved. I've started to meet the neighbors here, and there's so many that have introduced themselves that I can't remember all the names, which is cool. And even like neighbors in the building, neighbors on the block. And it's cool. I actually forgot how fun it is to get situated, because last year I was the fool, basically, rambling around and exploring and kind of moving through different stages. So now I'm able to do a lot of the 6 of Cups or 4 of Wands or 2 of Cups, where you're interacting with people, and it's a nice thing. So make some time to just slow down long enough to introduce yourself to new people. I'm in sort of expanding the friend network that way. And it can just be people in your community. And it's a good thing. So make time for it. It definitely helps. This is also for those of you that might be single and looking, how you'll probably meet someone. It's a friend of a friend, etc. All right. I love this for you, Libra. Love it, love it, love it. This is your crowning card, and you got a king in your crowning position, which is great. Not just a king, but the king of coins, king of pentacles. I love that he has a bow and an arrow and a big old coin there. This is telling me that if you look at things with precision this month, if you really go after something and don't, sort of waste time, you have a good chance of accomplishing whatever you set out to do. I think that there are two things that you want to be mindful of this month. One is what I just mentioned, really the clarity and precision of what it is. Like, I know I want to do this, or that I know I'm going to try to do this way. And the other thing is both the King and the Queen of Pentacles nurture. They do it in different ways, but they both nurture. So the important thing here is to take the idea or the thing that you want to see growth in your life and continue to nurture it with divine masculine energy here, which is going to be leadership, still a little of that paternal energy as well. And then also ownership too, saying like, I really stand behind this. It may be yourself that you're putting out there with that kind of energy, but whatever it is, you're setting yourself up to really see a fruitful, month to come. This is a great card for business, obviously, and a great card for money. It also rules the home or any sort of environments that you spend a lot of time in. So I would say it's really important for your office and your home, and they may be the same. I have an office in my home, so it's nice in this place to actually have a room that I can just use for this kind of work. So I'm still kind of building it all out behind the scenes here, but get your spaces together. That's going to give you the sense of openness and clarity, and then clarity of thought that you're going to need for following through on business and other things. Okay, we have the Emperor card, nicely paired. You've got two kings. So by the way, there could be a divine partnership this month where we have two evenly met personalities. This could be a great business partnership, FYI. We have the Nine of Pentacles in the environment. So I like what you guys are bringing to the table, to the stage here. But the Emperor card is about really stepping in and saying, I'm ready. I believe in myself. I worked hard for this moment, and this is your spotlight moment, by the way, with the Emperor. And it's basically, if you work this hard and you've tried this long to make something happen, why wouldn't you just go for it? Don't lose faith, hope, or vision in this pivotal time. I feel like this is going to be really exciting for you. The Emperor would also just be about a few things. Let's look at, for those of you that are looking to kind of cultivate Emperor energy. If you have an idea, try to get out of your discomfort and just step forward and offer it. And do so without negating or using any self-deprecating language. Like, I may not be an expert, but this may sound like it's a outlandish idea, but, or it's, I may be wrong, but don't do any of that. Just simply say, I have a thought, and put it out there. And then for other things in your life, if you really want to do something, be the one that raises your hand. Just say, hey, I know that, actually don't. We're working on not negating. So just say, I'm interested. It's hard, isn't it? Even as I'm trying to give the examples, it's hard. So I think the important thing here is say, I have an idea, or I'd like to help with that, or yes, I'm interested. Just be more declarative, less self-deprecating, and don't explain things to death. Just put it out there like a king would, like a queen would, okay? And that's gonna help you. And then of course, really deciding like you wanna do something and you're gonna do something and following through on it. Let's look at how you're showing up. This is potentially the biggest challenge. We have the Four of Swords and it is upright. Most of your cards this month are upright, FYI. Which is showing me that you do have good grounded energy. But the Four of Swords is basically saying you may have been running on empty for a few months, maybe even for a few years. For those of you that are really busy, it's going to catch up with you. So you might as well embrace it and try to put it into your schedule, bake it in. Back many years ago now, it's been over 8 years when I used to have a regular quote unquote day job. I would make sure that people would stop calling meetings during my lunch. I thought it was so rude that I would get I only had 30 minutes or maybe an hour depending, but I would be in meetings all day and there would be people that would still call during the lunch hour. So I would just make sure that that was blocked out, or I didn't pick up unless it was a really important number. I'd let it go to voicemail and eat my sandwich or take a walk, get out of the office so people couldn't reach me. So I made time to rest. And that's not like sleep rest. That's not Four of Swords rest, but that was my mind needed to stop for a little bit. Couldn't keep going and going and going. Even for you that are parents out there or that manage a lot of extracurricular stuff, this is basically about having just enough boundaries where it's saying, talk to me in 15 minutes, or we'll regroup it, 2 hours later or something like that. You can put a little bit of control over things and then prepare yourself, meditate, clear your head, etc. But I'd really like this to be getting enough sleep. It's going to help with this. These two cards kind of feed into each other, Nine of Swords and Four of Swords. Stress can lead to fatigue. So once you deal with the stress management, the sleep should happen more naturally. Why is sleep so important? Because it's magical. It allows you to let go of things. It allows you to see things from a different perspective. It's one of the number one ways I'd advise people to connect with their intuitive sides. It's a really important piece. So I want you to allow yourself to have that peace in your life. Rest, relaxation, and basically taking a break. You deserve it. As we look in the environment, we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is a fruitful and a sustainable card. So there could be a really nice offer that's coming in to your life in this moment in time. She's holding a butterfly or a moth. Transformative. We're using the last unicorn. The last unicorn, she is a symbol of transformation in here because she takes human form for part of the movie and then goes, I believe, maybe back into unicorn form. But this is the ability for us to change up, like I talked about earlier, change up the mold, change things up a little bit. By embracing that change, you're allowing yourself to bring in more. Some of you may have gotten used to receiving less than or not enough or something that just wasn't quite on the mark for you. And this is saying, all right, the changes are actually going to bring in more abundance, more opportunity. If you need to negotiate, you have a really good chance of getting what you ask for. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. This card has basically showed me that you've done most of the work, but like one more pentacle will bring this to completion. So I do believe in partnership and the ability for partnership to help out. He's holding that coin there, by the way. So there could be a really strong earth sign in your midst that's there to help you out. So you get to call the shots because the Emperor is between these two. So you can negotiate how this is going to look, feel, and see. For the rest of you, this is basically, it feels like one of the ancestral or lineage things that you want to prove is that you're good with money or that you're independent. It's already here in the cards. So all you need to do is just, again, finish what you started here, and I feel good about it. I really like that you got two great money cards and resource cards. So you get to call some of the shots and shape some of this. And yeah, you can do things on your own. You don't have to, though. That's one of the things to remember with the Nine of Pentacles. Although it's missing from the card, there's also a snail on here. So slow it down. People around you might need to slow the pace down a little bit because they want to rush through something. The snail indicates slow, steady, and consistent energy, which ultimately allows for this abundance. All right, let's move on to hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have the Eight of Swords and the card is reversed. So it's the opposite of what you see here. So she's reaching up, trying to see something that she can't see, seeing through illusion. So it is about taking the blindfolds off. I actually pulled this card over the past week and I was talking about different ways that you could do that. And some of these ways include asking a question, doing some research, like learning things. It can also just be an understanding that ambiguity, risk, and uncertainty ultimately is a part of growth. We don't know everything in this world, and no matter how much you learn or prepare, there's always going to be a degree of risk or uncertainty, and it's about comfort with that ambiguity. So if you can get comfortable with just a little bit of risk, because it feels like you have a lot of grounded energy here. Your head's in the right place, resources are in the right place, you have the leadership to make it happen. This really strikes me more as a fear or an anxiety. What if I miss something? The other thing that could be bothering you, and this can also be one of the things that you're breaking from this sort of like familial or ancestral energy, is a feeling like you don't see me. In this movie, again, the unicorn takes human form as a form of protection because the unicorns are being hunted. But basically, some people see her and know that she's a unicorn, but most people don't, or they're not listening to their intuition. So some of you, as I'm looking at this particular card from this particular deck, it's this feeling of, do you see me? Do you see my worth? And do you know, like, I can do a lot more than you're giving me credit for? So you know that, which is the most important piece. If others don't, can't, or won't see it, you don't have to stick around. Give them a shot, have a conversation, but at some point, that was one reason that I was really inspired to leave. And it was an inspiration. It wasn't like I was forced. I had, a very supportive as it was going to be in that situation, like boss and whatnot. But it just wasn't going to be what I needed for what I'm doing now. And I couldn't produce what I wanted to produce. And that ultimately was it. I needed more freedom and I needed more opportunity. So I knew that I would always be in the Eight of Swords if I stayed there. So for me, I had to take the blindfolds off. And in this card, we don't see her hands tied. She could just take the blindfolds off and see what's coming through. Okay? Let's look at your outcome in this spread. And we have the lovely Fool card here. He's reversed. So for some of you like me, it's the Fool slowing down and basically getting his footing. For some of you, there's an overdue move or change that needs to happen now. So it's either a call to action or it's shifting into a different gear. But this is another one of those peaks that I was talking about, which is even when you've slowed down, even when you think you've gotten everything under control, I like that he's juggling here, new things are going to come in and you're going to have to learn how to juggle those too. So you've never completely stopped. We keep going through the cycle. The major arcana never stops, right? You go from the Fool to the World and then back again. But each Fool is empowered by the journey around. It's kind of like your solar return. Each solar return you take, that Fool is a little less foolish and a little bit more sort of like, I'm just starting a new journey. We don't see it in this card, but you need less with you each time. You don't have to prove as much. You don't have to say as much. You don't have to, you don't have to bring on all of that stuff. It's sort of like, I've already got it here. That's why the Fool doesn't have as much with him. He's been through it a few times, depending on which incarnation of the Fool we're looking at. And because this is in the outcome here, this is a Fool that's been around the block a few times. So I like what I see overall. We're going to take a moment now. We're going to expand your forecast into health, wealth, love, and destiny to get some additional razor focus for you. As we go into health, again, a reminder that I'm not a substitute for a doctor, nor am I a substitute for a financial advisor or for any expert in your life. I'm just really here to help you see energy and intuitive possibilities. So with that in mind, let's take a look at your health card here. Shine your light. Hello, this is very closely connected to what I was talking about in channeled messages. We have Uriel coming through saying, basically, don't be afraid to be your true self. The card is reversed, but this may as well be the star or the sun with all the solar energy. We literally have the sun behind him. And by the way, Uriel is more of a they, because I've had Uriel come through more with divine feminine energy before. But let's say Uriel is a pretty strong energy. And the one message that they gave me before was don't be afraid to say thank you. To lead with gratitude, basically, because it opens up the hearts of the people around you. So I think it's going to be really important to express gratitude, heartfelt gratitude, when and only when you really feel that. And then also just be passionate. The heart is the key. We talked about the Hierophant holding the key here. The way to make that key really work is this. So the way to shine your light is to really lead from that heart. Now, this is also solar plexus, so power struggles could be coming in to play this month. So some of you may be asked to step up, and we've got that with the Emperor, and basically put your foot down or stand your ground. And so Uriel is saying, do that with heart, with kindness. This is a kind energy when we look at this archangel. So whether or not you connect with archangels or not, those are the sort of attributes that I get when I connect with Uriel is firm, strong, and compassionate. And so if you can embody that that strength and compassion. We could boil it down to those two elements. That's gonna lead you to the healthiest opportunities and probably the happiest you. And that's what this is all about. Let's look at some other messages around health. So I already mentioned stress management is going to be key, and sleep quality and quantity. It's a combination. Having more but not having good quality, that's not what it's about. So managing stress and then managing the amount of sleep will be the number one way to get yourself to the 9 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. Abundance is all around you if and only if you're ready and you're willing to take care of yourself. Whenever this card comes through, it's also about paying attention to your feet, ankles, not so much legs. It really is the feet. So for any of you that might, like me, have an existing, like I'm healing now and I'm fine, but yeah, I still can't kind of run a marathon or overdo it. So if there's physical therapy or limits, or maybe if you have arthritis or any sort of pre-existing condition, get the support you need for that, and don't push yourself unnecessarily there. This is also about making sure that you feel strong and like well grounded in whatever it is you're doing in this moment in time. Let's see what else we have here. I really do think community, family, and friends are coming through, and it's a place where you should spend more time if you can. Slow down a little bit and spend some more time with that there. I'm getting my ophthalmologist appointment in about a week, or optometrist appointment in a week. So I also talked about the cochlea. So whenever I get a blindfolded card, hearing or sight, just get a checkup if you haven't already. Audiologist or ophthalmologist, either way. Let me see if there's anything else. I'd like to see movement, and that's why the Fool is coming in here. Everybody's degree of movement and what's right for their body will change, so you've got to work with your doctor on that. But walking, if approved, is obviously what the Fool is connected with. Too many seated cards, typically with all the court cards. So I'd like to see a little bit more movement. And then that's really it. It looks good overall. Motivation is the only thing that's lacking this month. So you may need somebody to help you with accountability and with kind of continuing on that path of motivation. So don't be afraid to ask if you need help. Some of the stress may center itself in the solar plexus, since we're looking at the sun here, and I also featured the sun earlier. So knowing that that's something that you might want to talk to your doctor about, that's something to also think about. All right, let's move on from health to wealth. Depending on your station in life, it can mean different things. It can be what you're studying. It can be what you're going and working on day to day. It can also just be your general life purpose. Your oracle card associated with wealth was the same sort of energy of the Four of Swords here. We have despondence here, but I'm getting a couple of things here that is coming through. One is this feeling of wanting to break free. We have the World card essentially here. If we take this person out, it's just, to me, the world. And it's someone who's really trying to just be their best self. What I see for some of you that's blocking you is someone else that wants you to stay put, that could be a little bit upset that you are moving on to the next level. I'm laughing just because of the contrast here. And she's like, you're not bothering me, but she's quite bothered. So you don't owe, especially the older you get, you don't owe people an explanation for doing what's right, especially if, many of you are sort of very independent, self-sufficient. You have the resources, you have the means. If you've worked hard for that, then do what you got to do. It's okay. Ultimately, what I've learned is you're never going to be able to get everybody to see it from your perspective. You're never going to make everybody happy. What's most important is what we see in this card. Sometimes fewer but better when it comes to friends, and chosen over maybe your DNA family. Because blood relatives, they're just, you don't have a choice but to connect with them. But the chosen family, the friends, that's actually, as we get older, where the healthiest and the most important connections are. So if you can invest a little bit more there, that's going to be key. Let's see how this is going to help you with work. All right, with work this month, your friends and the people closest to you can be the ones that can get you out of this sense of despondence or lacking of sort of initiative, which is the Four of Swords. I do see a partnership opportunity on the horizon if you want it. King of Coins and the Emperor being very nicely matched, being able to get something done, being able to really fill in the gaps if there are any gaps from one another and bring this to a good place. It does feel like you want to get in good control of your money. This is the King of Coins or resources. This is control. This is abundance. So rein it in. Really look at what you want to spend money on, what you don't. Ask for more if you need more money or more support. You have a good chance to get what you need or get better control over what you may feel like is out of control. Because this can be falling asleep at the wheel a little bit. So this is pulling it back and saying, all right, let's tighten this up. Let's get rid of this. Let's focus on that. So this is really a chance for you to be decisive and be in charge. Happy surprises, by the way. Eight of Swords reverse can be something unexpected. When we have the Fool, the Nine of Pentacles, and then a bunch of good cards over here, I would say there could be someone coming into your life, also Six of Cups, who it's just unexpected. This Six of Cups and this partnership is pretty good. This is pretty good. This is a nice movement or change. So I like it. There's just something unexpected, which is why I saw the understudy moment or someone just pulling you on to center stage. I didn't see failure. I saw surprise. There's a big difference there. And I think that you're going to be more prepared than you may give yourself credit for something. All right. Let me see if there's anything else. If there has been any issues, this would be connected with Seven of Pentacles energy, which is slow, again, slow, steady, but also like you're making progress. So just give yourself credit and know your worth, okay? All right, let's move on now to your love card. This is going to be basically the gamut: friends, family, and also romantic relationships. And what we see here is an importance to really focus on patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. We also have a sun on this, another solar disk coming through. So for some of you, when we're looking at love and relationships, no surprise here, it could be a power struggle. It could also be, for some of you, parental. I mean, we were talking about this healing family, so this can be mother or father. We got a lot of paternal energy coming through, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's the divine masculine or the father figure in your life. And things like that take time, and then a lot of times, especially if they had a certain vision or version of what they thought you should be, but you decided to kind of go your own way, you just have to be patient with them, eventually coming around. And if not, that's their loss. It's not something you have to put a lot of energy into right now. Just giving time, giving space, giving patience. Let's specifically break this down into 3 different components. We're going to look at this for those of you that are in love, looking for love, or single and happy. And by the way, the in love, I put it in air quotes portion, can also simply be any relationships in your life, the person that you love the most. We just turn off the heat. It's actually getting warm in here, and then I'll read that portion. All right, so looking at the core relationships that are presently in your life, the main message, again, as we were looking at this, was healing and patience. So if we can keep the healing and patience components in current relationships, those are 2 of the most important cards that I pulled with respect to that. You and the person that you care about the most have a lot more in common than you have differentiating yourself. The thing that you have in common is, so the King of Pentacles is very, very work-oriented, likes facts, figures, and information, likes everything sorted out. This person likes to be in control. They may not need to see everything or know everything, but they want to feel like they're in control. Both of these are very dominant energies. So we have 2 nicely matched individuals, but what will happen sometimes is they both may have a thing that they want to do, and it's difficult to concede, or it's difficult to meet halfway. And I think that's going to be that's where the patience comes in, and that's where the work comes in too. One of the cool things is sometimes you can diverge and you can focus on 2 different things. You could say, well, that's all right. You do your thing. I'll do my thing. We'll come back a little bit later. You don't want to be doing that all the time, but there's going to be a lot of independence here. So there'll be chances where you do that. There may be chances where you say, you know what, let me just do this. I've never tried it before, but I'm willing to take a leap of faith because the Fool is connected to this. So you could try something that your partner likes and vice versa. So this is putting yourself and them putting themselves outside of the comfort zone from time to time. And it should be a give and take. One person shouldn't be doing it all the time. What I do like about this current sort of relationship is that it comes from a good place here, the Six of Cups. The things to heal, the things that you're both bringing to the karmic stage here, because it does feel like some of you are in a karmic partnership. Some of you have a way of manifesting your fears. Nothing exists, but you kind of like almost want to see it happen because you're afraid that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I would say focus less on the fears of the past. What happened, happened. You have the key to change it now. That's what's important. This is different. Slow it down and let go of some of those old patterns. They'll not repeat unless you want them to. I'm not picking up on any repetition here. I just picked up on a little bit of fear from the past. The last thing that I want to touch upon in existing relationships before I move on to the next portion is how much each partner is investing. This could just be that comfortable phase that you get into after years of being together. It's kind of predictable, it's easy, it's snoozy, it's kind of like dreamy, lazy sort of energy. So it's good to occasionally kind of bring in the spontaneous fool and say, hey, guess what? We're doing this. Or you don't want to maybe throw it on them if they're not ready or willing. Just say, I was thinking of this. I'm 2 steps away from booking a reservation. Does it sound good to you? Give them a chance to obviously say yes or no. But I think it's good to change something up or say, well, no, we've eaten that 5 times this week. Let's try this instead. Any place where you can inject a little bit of a, okay, let's go. Let's do it. I think that could be fun for you. It doesn't have to cost money. It could just be a matter of changing up the routine and saying, no, we'll clean, we'll worry about this, whatever, tomorrow. Today we're going to take a drive or we're going to see a movie or something like that. Those sorts of spontaneous energies could be really, really beneficial in sort of like bringing in a little bit more fun and spontaneity. All right. For those of you looking for love this month, yeah, you can find it. We have the Six of Cups energy, and there's no lack of new people coming in. In fact, I do see the Fool, someone coming in from an unexpected. We have blindfolds and the Fool, so quick movement. And even if the blindfolds are off, there's still an element of surprise. And some of you, it's disbelief. You've been waiting for a while. You've been trying to manifest someone, and someone comes in, and you're like, wait, is this real? Or is this just a doppelganger? Is this just an illusion? It's not an illusion. It doesn't have to be an illusion if you don't want it to be. So working away from these fears and these old patterns, yeah, you can bring someone new in. What you need to focus on first and foremost is the biggest sort of healing opportunity is rest and stress management, because that's going to make you a lot more enjoyable to be around, not just with another person, but also you'll have more fun hanging out with yourself when the stress and the sleep are under control. It's a good month overall. I don't think you can orchestrate this meeting if you're looking for someone. The Fool comes into your life. And I would just encourage you, just like I would with the Three of Wands, to be looking in different directions. So that's my main advice is, yes, someone could be coming in, could be an earth sign, and definitely picking up on karmic energy. The Six of Cups is one of my karmic markers. So I get karmic energy. The karmic baggage you're bringing in is fear from the past. And the other thing you want to do is give both sides like enough room to breathe. The Four of Swords can also be an advice card, as is the Hanged Man. So if you're meeting someone new, don't overdo it. If you're with someone for a long time, maybe we need a little more action, a little bit more movement. It's going to read different. All right, if you're single and happy, the big opportunities this month, without a doubt, personal development, financial development, resource development. It's a good month for money and work and getting things done and fixing up the house and being seen in a different light at work. We talked about that as well. It's pretty good. I have to say this is a pretty good month. And here's a cool piece. You could, through talking to someone, have an epiphany, a brainstorm, a big idea that you wouldn't otherwise, because on your own, I feel like some of you are just, you've done all that you can do. So the key to success this month, in whatever it is that you're trying to heal or unlock, it really is connected with sort of like that other person helping hold up a mirror, helping you see things that you haven't seen before. Okay, let's transition into the Destiny card, which is changing from month to month. It's your trajectory. It's a GPS. It's a gut check, too, to make sure that you're happy with where you're at. Well, lo and behold, we have a mediumship card, which is a receiving card, but the card is reversed. So this could be like the King of Cups or the Ace of Cups if it's reversed. And if we get one of those Cups cards reversed, it's basically saying before I can receive, I need to release. I need to let go. So if you are dealing with this, however you best feel ready to exorcise, release, or let go of this, that would be number one, to let that go. The other thing here is this is High Priestess reversed. So when the High Priestess receives things, typically she understands that there is something to embrace, there is meaning in it, so don't second guess yourself. You're being led, you're being shown, you're being inspired to move, and all you have to really do is allow for that movement to happen. And that's the general message there. Okay, let's take a moment here to look at the big idea and see how all of this is coming together, and then we'll move on to the next portion. Well, hello there. We have the Lovers card. So this is a nice connection to, I've seen this in a few signs this month, but who doesn't like to receive the Lovers? So for some of you, the partnership energy that I talked about is really just a chance to have someone to come in and, like I said, help you see something you couldn't otherwise see. They're reflecting your value, and they're also maybe pulling together those pieces. That's what a producer can do, whether it's TV or music or whatever. They're like, you got all the pieces. If we just rearrange them this way, it's going to be even better. So there could be someone in your life that helps you see that. They love you, they support you, and they're like, try this. You could be pulling in the love of your life, because we've got the Lovers here. This is also the number one magnet card that I can pull. Maybe very, I would say Sun, Lovers, and Star. They're very good cards. And you can utilize, embrace, or embody those cards however you best want to. So the Lovers is you being up on stage and people applauding and being very happy. It can be falling in love. It can be sending out a resume and getting the reply back that, yes, we want to give you an offer. It's interest, it's connection, it's intrigue. So you have a very magnetic energy this month. If you can work through a couple of the things that we talked about, namely the 9 and the 4 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords. You got those 3 Swords cards. So 8 of Swords, having to see everything. 9 of Swords, stressing out about things that you can't control. 4 of Swords, needing a little bit more rest. If you can get past those things, people are already ready to receive and celebrate what you have to bring in. Okay? And for the reader's choice, just to kind of follow up on it, what can you do to get out of your way? That's what I'm going to frame it up as. Well, we got the Star, folks. The Star is reversed, though. So with the Star card in reverse, it's saying when you second guess, when you edit, when you try to play to the masses rather than play to the heart or play to your higher self, that's the only thing that's going to get in your way. So be more yourself than you were before, and do things more authentically, honestly, boldly than you have in the past. That's the one piece of advice I would give to the younger version of myself. Don't wait to be happy. Don't mute your light. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't let age or inexperience stand in the way of your power. All of these things are true with the Star. You have what it takes at any station in life to really make a splash. And being unique is what's going to be what's attractive. But these, I told you before, the only thing that's missing is the Sun. These are 2 of the most powerful cards. If we get the Sun as well, then this is going to be an amazing month for you. But you've already got 2 of the 3, so I'm happy with that. Plus, you've got the 6 of Cups, which is just as strong. 6 of Cups, 2 of Cups, and Lovers. They're all strong love and magnetic energy. Let's break it down a little bit more and see what else is in store. We're going to look at Sun, rising, and moon and see what additional messages are coming through. Yeah, this deck was expensive, but totally worth it. I even love the, it's got this sort of like gold leaf and it's purple and the foil. I'm like, this is a nice deck. Somebody recommended it on one of the threads that I put out there, so thanks to whoever did that. Okay, sun, rising, moon. Sun, rising, moon. Let's break it down. Starting with sun sign messages, we have the Two of Swords coming through. So the interesting thing with the Two of Swords, much like the Eight of Swords, we've got the two blindfolded cards here. Not everything is going to be cut and dry. Not everything's going to be black and white. There are going to be some things where you're going to have to sort it out and trust intuition. The Two of Swords always holds two aces, basically. And what holds you back sometimes is doubting your higher mediumship or higher self. Again, maybe wanting everything laid out in front of you. What you're really going to be asked to do this month is either raise your hand and ask questions, do the research, or simply trust intuition and take a leap in one direction. You'll always have a chance later to course correct if you need to, but the Two of Swords is basically saying you're going to have to either find more information or lean more into intuition. And that's going to be the important thing this month. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. This is something where you have to tell yourself and believe in yourself like this is the path. Especially when we were looking at the cards, you have all these leadership cards here. So you're the boss. The buck stops with you. And so this is something where even as we looked at the Hierophant, you got people waiting for you. They're symbolized by the crows on this one, but people are waiting to hear what you have to say. So you and you alone are going to set that into motion, and it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but or disconcerting at the initial stages. But you'll be all right. I feel like you're going to be all right. Just as I said earlier, ask questions, speak up, do research, and then ultimately trust yourself. That's my advice for that. Moving on to rising, we have the Five of Wands. Work and cooperation and collaboration as well. And it's the collaboration and cooperation that's often missing from the Five of Wands. So if there's a way for you to really embrace that, I think that's where the magic happens. And there's always a leadership opportunity in the Five of Wands. After all, one more brings you to the Six of Wands. So you got so many leadership cards this month. I feel like you could be that piece, that missing piece that brings it into the Six of Wands. Someone's waiting for someone to just speak up or show the way. And again, maybe even people within your own sign are, because we're looking at sun sign Libras here, and this is rising. So everyone's looking for a leader here. So what you realize at the end of the day is that you are the leader. It's just a matter of when you're going to step up to that. If you're lacking sort of this ability to get things done, because we saw initiatives stepping in there, then really remind yourself why you're doing something. So this is a time to ground yourself in the purpose, get focused again, because this King of Pentacles was super focused, to work with and lean on friends. And then at the end of the day, try to find ways to collaborate, and that'll help you out. Okay. Moon. You've got the Hermit card. This is also a really powerful energy. A lot of times this is an unsung hero. This might be you needing to just take some time off, and we talked about that. For those of you that have been working, this is saying, all right, just pull back from some of the social interactions a little bit. If you are spending time, spend time with the people that you love the most. So for all of my moon sign, it's just about slowing down and taking care of yourself. And the Hermit card is the most sort of wise and empowered out of the three when I'm looking at sun, rising, and moon, by slowing down like we saw with the Hanged Man, and by basically being present and maybe sleeping on a big decision. They're going to get the information, the research, the leadership, and the confidence that they need to bring it forward. So I actually think sun and rising can learn from the Hermit. Keep it to yourself a little bit until you're ready, and then when you're truly ready, show that star that you have. Normally there's a lantern, but in this one we can just see a star right around the horn on the unicorn. So This is all about timing. You have what it takes, but it is just about having that perfect moment to feel good and just to step into that spotlight. So quickly, let's look at the 3 and then we'll move into the final portion here. So again, for Sun, it's really about doing what you need to do to feel the confidence that I just talked about, asking questions and just figuring out like why. One last thing with this, sometimes if it's uncertain, it just may not be the right. If you can't decide, sometimes that's a decision. It's saying, why don't I try a different direction? Collaboration is going to be really important. So any way that you can collaborate as we look at rising is key. Timing and then sharing your knowledge is what we got really for the moon. And I believe that brings us to the final component of today's reading, which is going to be a meditation, sound bath, and a final card. If you have a moment, please like and subscribe and opt into all notifications. Later on, you can give me a follow on social. Thank you in advance for everybody that gave back today. A reminder, by the way, I don't give private readings, so if you ever see that, you know that's not me. All right, let's go ahead now and focus on the meditation. So 3 parts remain. We're going to meditate, there'll be a quick sound bath, and then I'm going to pull a card based on a question that you have. So go ahead and write down a question if you haven't already. Don't put it in chat, just write it on paper or on your phone. And let's focus on the cards here. As I'm looking at everything in front of me, healing is, of course, coming through. You know, I want to help you with the vision, with seeing things. So we're going to focus on opening the third eye today. All right, so close your eyes if you will. Take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, let go of any stress that you might be holding on to in your shoulders, in your neck, in your back. You can gently move your shoulders, neck, or back around a little bit if you need to, and then just get comfortably seated when you're ready. Now, see yourself, there's so much beautiful sort of nighttime energy in these cards. Let's imagine that you have that sort of purplish energy right after the sun is set. The stars are starting to come out, and you can just see this the beautiful sort of energy of night falling around you. And as you are sort of looking into this beautiful pond near you, you can see your own reflection. And there's a beautiful star behind your head as well. Imagine, if you will, that as you're looking into the water and the star and your reflection ripple back and forth, for a moment it superimposes right over your third eye. I just want you to close your eyes and see that light right there. Imagine that you could place a star right there on the third eye. If you need to keep looking at the reflection to hold that vision, that's fine. But through the magic of the water, you basically have a star that's right on top of your third eye. And as you start to close your eyes and breathe, see the light within that star start to grow and glow and reach out in all directions and all dimensions, all timelines, all versions of yourself. And allow yourself in this moment to see how everything is part of a tapestry. Everything has a rhyme and a reason, and there has been no mistakes, just choices. And in this epiphany that you have not made mistakes, perhaps, but just simply allowed yourself to navigate to this moment where we're even meditating, that everything from this point forward is going to be a little bit easier, a little bit more empowered, a little bit more aware, and this is going to allow you to step into your power. Beyond just this light, imagine that the rays of light coming from this star allow you to see, to know, and to feel beyond the borders of your body, of your city, of even this planet. See beyond and focus on what your third eye is showing you. Maybe it's just an affirmation that the world is bigger than you thought, that you're okay, that you're exactly where you need to be in this moment. Maybe it's a path, a plan, a roadmap of what is next in your road, in your journey. Whatever you want to focus on and whatever comes through, that's authentic to you. So keep meditating, keep allowing that light to shine. I'm going to play the singing bowl and then we'll come back and look at your final card. Take a nice deep breath. Allow all of that light and energy to continue to exist within that third eye, but go ahead and allow yourself to come back into your body. Your third eye is wide open. You're going to be able to see people, opportunities, and even the questions that surround you in your life with a little bit more clarity than you did before. All right, when you're ready, please open your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Focus now on the question that you had for me. Don't type it out yet, just focus on the question. Let's see what the universe has to say regarding that question. Well, we have the 10 of Cups. Lots of great energy around community, friends, people, love. So absolutely, for those of you that are looking for more than you've had before, this is a card of abundance. It's one of the ultimate cards of abundance here. The cups are running over, basically. So yes, it's a great time for love, for community, for expansion, and really this great heartfelt creativity. It's going to be a good month for you. And I do feel like there's a potential to really attract new people, new things into your life that you haven't before. Part of that involves breaking the mold, trying something new, not dimming your light. This is an affirmative, a yes, for those of you that were looking for like a yes-no sort of question. There's an immediacy to the 10 of Cups as well. It's happening, it's around you, it's connected to the people around you. And it's a card that's really centered on love. And so the heart is the thing that keeps coming through loudest and clearest. And there's so many different people showing up in the cards this month, from the court cards to the 6 of Cups to the lovers themselves, to some of the other really high cards like the Sun as well. It's a good month. This is a good month for business, for personal healing, and for development. So good luck, Libra. Keep me posted in the comments below. In fact, that's a great way. It's good engagement. So, there are unicorn emojis. So put a unicorn below and let me know what it is that you're really focusing on this month and how the month kind of factors out for you. Okay? Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Again, if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love for you to do that. We're very close to another goal here. So once we hit the next goal, I think we're about 8,000 away. I'll do a special reading where I do like a Q&A for members as well on that one. Feel free to join me on social media for reminders and recaps. And thank you so much to those that gave back. In fact, I want to take a couple minutes before I wrap up just to say thank you, and then we'll call it for today. All right. While I'm doing that, a reminder that I'm live every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I also do a daily card read every single day, plus some special readings from time to time. All right. So let's see if we have any new members. It looks like we have a few, actually. Kelly, Emily, Bella, and Cindy. Thank you so much. All of you joined within the last 12 hours or so. So if any of you did it today, thank you. If any of you did it yesterday, I hope you got to see this, but thank you. All right, for those that gave a super sticker, I just want to give you a quick shout out and then we'll wrap up. Kicking things off today was Robert. Thank you for your generosity. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. Raven, Anna, Jane, Kathy, and Wendy. And Kathy, thank you too. I appreciate that. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's. And again, with all those contributions, I'll continue to get some new decks. This one was a splurge, but worth it. I need to keep looking at some of the other ones out there to see which ones are calling to me. But thanks so much for giving back. Okay, have a great day, everyone. Like I said, I'll be back again tomorrow, same time. And every afternoon, usually early evening, I post the video for the next day. So keep an eye out for tomorrow's daily card. In the meantime, lots of love and light, and thank you for being here. See you soon. Bye-bye.